TalkFCB, and welcome back here to the channel, guys, to yet more reaction from Quique Setién's first game as Barcelona coach. There's so much to discuss there from our opening match against Granada. So many interesting tweaks there that you can already see from Setien. Those changes slowly taking effect, because believe me, there are exciting times to come. And without further ado, we've got to get onto it. We've got to get in now to the match action, because there's so much to discuss. There really is. And throughout this video, I want you here to analyse 4 of those key aspects. I want you to keep a special look out there for the changes in the system. I want you to look out for clear signs of Barcelona having control and authority over their opponents. I want you to take a particular look there at the pressing, and in particular, the collective pressing from Barcelona. And I also want you to look out for there that high defensive line winning the ball high up the pitch, the centre-backs there stepping out into midfield and playing the ball. Very key aspects there from Setien's changes, and we have got to dissect them all here. Let's get right to it. And if we first of all start with the system deployed by Quique Setién, because when the lineup was announced there, we were expecting it to be the usual 4-3-3 formation, and we weren't really expecting too much variation on that in Setien's first game. But he really did go to town on us. He absolutely did, because in possession, it all changed around. It was very interesting to see there Jordi Alba pushing high up the left-hand side, playing there like a left winger, and then you actually had Sergio Roberto not doing the same thing, but actually tuck it in to form there as part of a back three, which made us more solid in defensive way. Which made us more solid there defensively, but it also helped with the build-up from the back. Gave Jordi Alba much more license and much more freedom down that left-hand side, and with Ansu Fati moved across to the right, we also maintained an attacking threat there all over the field. It worked brilliantly. And in the opening minutes of the game there, you could see already a very clear illustration of that shape and of the system there deployed by Quique Setién. What you can see there is Lionel Messi dropping deeper than both Antoine Griezmann. You can see Ansu Fati already sticking very wide up that right-hand side. And just like Granada there, look at how narrow they were. Because when you play Messi central, when you've got Griezmann there sticking nice and close to him, you force your defence to really focus on those players. And then Setien thought, you know what, we've got to exploit those wider areas. Usually Messi would leave all of that space on the right when he came inside, but by playing Ansu there, you kept your threat. You've got Alba on the left, and then your midfield there, nicely in triangles with a high defensive line. That's the way. The Barça way. And now we're just 7 minutes into the game, and like I say, no matter what, whether Quique Setién only worked on these players for a few days before this game, very early on, they were confident in what they were doing. They were really transmitting those ideas out onto the field, and here you can see again several of those aspects all coming together. Number one there, you look at the high press. Lionel Messi there is going to go and press the goalkeeper. You've got Ansu Fati the same, Antoine Griezmann, you've got Busquets there motioning for everybody to push up, and you can all see here the defensive line is extremely high. They're very much on the halfway line. They're all in sync there. That time as a back four, it's very flexible in the way we want to bet our system in and out of possession. And as you can see here, we press the goalkeeper in playing the ball long. What happens then is Samuel Umtiti wins that first ball. And what you have there, by having such a high line, if you win that first ball, you put yourself in a great position. Because then there, that ball is headed down as far as Sergio Busquets. It then goes into Arturo Vidal. And if we can get the pass right then, it's very much 3-on-3. That's the kind of situation there you can put yourself into. If you take that risk, you play that high line, you win that first ball, then you're onto your opponents in a flash. And I want you to watch there all of those different aspects from Quique Setién's changes come to fruition in the opening 6 minutes here when we create a big chance, and just look how it starts. It starts here with Samuel Umtiti, part of that back three. He's there got the licence with Piqué and Sergio Roberto central to step out there and play a pass. He picks out Antoine Griezmann, which he did on many occasions throughout the game. It's a nice accurate pass there. Griezmann is dropping in. He alternated with Messi. It wasn't always Messi going deep sometimes, and more often than not, it was Griezmann. And just look at the way here we cut through Granada's midfield. Griezmann there is bringing the centre-back with him. He's attracting there the holding midfield player. He then pops the ball just back into Sergio Busquets, who plays it there around the corner to Arturo Vidal, and suddenly there, with one sweeping move, we've evaded the Granada midfield. Antoine Griezmann now can be released, and suddenly then, he's going for the defence. What you then have is Lionel Messi in a central position, and again, Granada are so preoccupied with Messi, They're very, very narrow. You can see Ansu Fati is going to reap the rewards. Griezmann there with a good ball into Ansu Fati, and then it's all about that decision making. It's all about there finding the right final pass or the right final shot. Eventually there, Ansu does let one go on goal, and he's unlucky there with a good save from the keeper to deny him. But even that early in the game, the signs were looking good. And there's another example here of Antoine Griezmann dropping in, playing that playmaker role. It's not always going to be Lionel Messi, like I say, and Sergio Busquets, as always, at the heart in getting things started. He plays the ball there into Antoine Griezmann. Again, he's on the turn, he's looking around. The ball there is going to go into Arturo Vidal. And just watch the run here of Griezmann, because he just circles. He just evades there the markers from Granada. Messi, again, is in that central role. He's occupying the right back. He's dragging Granada very, very narrow. And who's the one that's going to benefit again? Yep, it's that right winger. And you think about it here. You think of the space there that Ansu Fati was able to get in this sort of game because of Griezmann, because of Messi taking all the attention. You wonder there what's going to happen when Ousmane Dembele comes back into this team. If he can come back, if he can stay fit, if he can really become a part of this team under Setien, that could be so exciting. Ansu here once again received the ball in a very, very good area from Antoine Griezmann. And again, it's about that final ball. This time, nothing quite comes of it. There's several bodies there in the area, but he can't quite pick one out. But again, the signs are there of something growing, a clear plan in our mind, and it came off. Time and time again. And now on the 20th minute mark, guys, once again, I do feel as though we see those true benefits of having that right winger out on the field, having natural wide players out there. They can get into good positions, and they're often there when you need them to be, occupying all of that space. Because you look here, Messi picking the ball up, Alba is already making that run. Messi has seen it 1,000 times, we all have, but nobody can stop it. It's a brilliant ball there, Messi to Jordi Alba, there's nothing new there. The only difference is, when Jordi Alba there gets into that position, there's usually somebody maybe in and around the area. You've got Vidal approaching, you've got Antoine Griezmann who's going to try and get in there. Usually maybe we'd have Suarez, but this time you've got Ansu Fati, and he's getting there in the perfect position. It's winger to winger, Jordi Alba across the box there to Ansu Fati. It reminds me very much so of sort of at the Camp Nou, Real against Barça, when David Villa there puts it across the box and Pedro comes in and scores from winger to winger, side to side, Alba there into the area, and Ansu Fati inches away from scoring in that first half. We could have had several goals. And although Messi will often take up very, very central positions in that sort of false nine role, he was actually given throughout this game pretty much a free role. Messi could go wherever he'd like to go, and to be honest, that's the best place for him, because then Messi has the license to pick the ball up anywhere that he wants, and you can see him here. He's very, very deep in the field. Granada are relatively high for their standards, but as you can see, when Messi there vacates that central position, Arturo Vidal was very, very key, because he kept replacing Messi. He kept going in the same sort of position there to take up that space. The centre midfielders there, Rakitic too, very, very high, with Griezmann as the leading man. And again, all of that room this time on the right-hand side for Ansu Fati. It's a brilliant pass by Lionel Messi. Ansu there, he's quick enough to get into that position. Again, it's about that final ball, and his touch this time just lets him down. But so many times there, we were able to create those angles, whether it be Messi, whether it be Griezmann. Vidal, very, very crucial in his positioning. But Barcelona really should have been ahead at half-time. However, don't just think that Ansu Fati was told to stay on the right-hand side and do not move a muscle, because he was also given the licence to interchange. He was coming central at times, he was combining very close there with Lionel Messi, and when that happened, again, it was unpredictable, because then you had Griezmann making the runs a little bit wider out on the left. You can see it here, we're trying to exploit this time the space down the left-hand side. It's Ansu there combining with Lionel Messi. Messi now has the option there to play in Griezmann on the left-hand side. He's got Ansu central, and I actually think here, for once in his life, Messi doesn't quite know which option to choose. And that's the thing about this. It's all still new. The runs of Griezmann, the runs of Ansu, the runs of Messi. To each of those players, they've still got to understand the differences in the way we're playing now, and it'll all come in time. Even Messi yesterday couldn't quite pick out which pass to go for, and all of that'll come. That's the exciting thing once again. And it was exactly the same here. When Ansu Fati came inside, look at the ball that Busquets is about to play. He gets the ball between there, the two Granada midfielders, and into the path of Ansu. But it's not just the pass, it's also the weight of the pass. Busquets plays the ball there so that Ansu Fati doesn't even need to take a touch to play it onto Messi. It's a brilliant pass there. Ansu into Messi, and Messi there chooses to go out to Alba. Griezmann continues that run, and he's inches away from getting on the end of it. And as you can see here from Barcelona, it's not just one route. It's not just everything down the left or everything down the right or Griezmann or Messi. It's not all on their shoulders to make something happen. It's shared around. We can go down the right. We can exploit the left. We can go down the middle. We can drop off. There's so so many different avenues yesterday that Barcelona tried to exploit, and certainly did so, and if the finishing would have been better, it would have been more. And I would just like to say, guys, the one chance that we did concede, the one big chance for Granada was the time they hit the post. And I would like to just say, it was all of our own making. And I'm actually glad to say that. It was one of our own mistakes there in playing out the back that led to that chance. And that's a good thing. Do you know why? It wasn't because the opposition were all over us. It wasn't because we were wide open defensively that they were given that chance. We, ourselves, gave them that chance by a mistake. And that's the only mistake we made all game. It was Roberto there, gave the ball away. Granada there were quick to pounce. It's a brilliant strike, to be fair, from the edge of the area, and it smacks against the post. We got lucky. But that was it. One mistake in the entire 90 minutes, and that was the only chance we allowed Granada, and that's the way that it should be. But of course, we do have to talk about the goal, and we do have to move on to this man, Riqui Puig, who actually starts the move there. A brilliant tackle, a 50-50 tackle. He's strong, he's physical, he wins the ball back, everything that people say that he can't do. He gets it here, plays it into Busquets, who then moves it on to Lionel Messi, who's stretching there to play the ball into Griezmann. I think Griezmann's role in this goal is pretty underrated. He also puts in a nice little flick there to Arturo Vidal, and from there, it's absolute art from Barcelona. A little flick from Griezmann, Arturo Vidal gets it, little flick from him, Messi with the simplest of finishes for him. Barcelona lead, and it was thoroughly deserved. We really deserved that goal. I was so happy with the way that it came about, through Puig, into Busquets, into Messi, Griezmann involved, Vidal showing that kind of role that he has when he's getting into that kind of position. Vidal, for me, was very good in this game, plays it into Messi, and of course, he's the man to get the first goal under Quique Setién. And the final thing here that I do want to look at is that man, Riqui Puig. Because just look at this here. The ball gets played into him 7 minutes from time in his own half. Granada this time are actually trying to push forward. They're actually trying maybe to get an equalising goal. And just look at the way that he moves with the ball. He explodes into the Granada half. It's a wonderful run from him. He's so confident there. He knows exactly what he wants. He really uses some pace here to push Granada back. And look at him. He's running there at the heart of the Granada defence. All the confidence in the world, and the final pass is brilliant. He waits there until precisely the right moment to unleash Griezmann there in towards the goal. The pass is so good, it's so nicely weighted that Griezmann there is in the perfect position. He didn't need to take a touch. He had a shot there on his left-hand side. Very nearly scored. It was very nearly a brilliant assist there from Riqui Puig, and from him and the rest of this Barcelona team. There's plenty more to come. But just before I do leave you guys, there's two things that I want to tell you, two things here that I want to say, and it's directed at those people who'll come to you and they'll say two things. They'll say, number one, it was only Granada. Quique Setién is nothing special. Quique Setién hasn't changed anything at Barcelona. It was an easy game against Granada at the Camp Nou. Well, number one, Granada beat us earlier on this season, so they're not actually such a bad team as they're being made out to be. And secondly, only Granada can actually mean that sometimes those type of teams who come to the Camp Nou, who sit in a very low block, who effectively park the bus, that can actually be, for teams like Setien's, can be very difficult to break down because of that lack of space, because of that lack of urgency in the opposition to ever get out of their half, to ever there go and attack you. They're happy there to sit in for the entire game. And actually, as we saw under Pep Guardiola sometimes, those can often be the most frustrating sides to face, because against bigger teams, against better teams, you will get more space and probably will create more chances. And secondly, there's people who will say, oh, well, Granada went down to 10 men. That was the only reason that Barcelona scored. Barcelona would never have scored if Granada didn't go down to 10 men. Well, number one, we would have anyway. The goal was coming. It made no difference there with Granada having 10 or Granada having 11. And I'd also say that sometimes it could even be harder to play against 10 than play against 11. Because as soon as Granada went down to 10 men, they parked the bus even more. And that's absolutely incredible. But the other thing I would say is, people sort of make out there Granada were just handed a red card for no reason. Well, no, we forced them to get that red card. It wasn't just a one-off tackle. It was an accumulation there of yellow cards. Granada could only stop us by fouling. That's how good the football was. We were moving it so quickly, we were playing it round them with ease, and the only way they could stop us was with that persistent fouling. So that is why they got the red card, and why Barcelona, whatever anybody says, are definitely improving. You cannot doubt that. You cannot doubt the changes. Of course, you've got to see them more often. Of course, now we'll have bigger tests to come, starting at the weekend, going to Mestalla. But look, the signs are good. That's all we're saying. That's all we're excited about. And please leave your thoughts in the comments down below, guys. What did you make here of the game in its entirety? What did you make of the front three, of the midfield, of the system Setien used there in the defence? Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments down below. More videos coming soon. But until next time, As always, Visca El Barça!